Okay, so I have not been happy with this lock. This is a SwitchBot, the Lock Pro that they had out, I don't know, some time back. They actually sent this to me for review. And originally it worked okay, but the problem I've been having is batteries run dead like really fast. And the way that it does its auto lock is not the way I want it to function. So today we are going to be replacing this SwitchBot lock with this Eufy C220. Now I've had this for a little bit. I've just been kind of putting this off, not wanting to do it, but the time has come. The batteries are dead in it again. I just put these in like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they're already dead. These batteries here are supposed to last 8 months. So we're gonna be swapping this out for this, and I'm really looking forward to getting this off the door. It's also like extremely thick. And you'll see here in a minute when I start taking it off, it's actually really huge on the door. My wife doesn't like it anyway. So it's time for it to go and get this installed. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is get this unboxed. And then once we get this laid out, kind of see what's in it, then we can get to the door. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need any batteries or not, so we're gonna find that out. So again, this is the Eufy Security Smart Lock C220. Now, in case you don't know, Eufy is the security brand for Anker. And if you know anything about Anker products, they are awesome. I have a lot of Anker products, and I have had 0 issues throughout the years with any Anker device at all. So I'm actually really excited to get this hooked up. Typical Anker fashion, nice packaging. Okay, so this right here is gonna be the part that's on the outside of the door. This is what's gonna connect through the door to the main unit. And you can see this right here goes through the deadbolt portion. So that's for outside. This is the interior piece here. And you can see it's not near as thick as the other one, which actually I guess you'll see the other one when we get there. Now it's got a rubber pad already on top. The plate which goes in behind it is also rubber padded, so it's not going to slip around. And you can see here is where the piece from the outside connects in, and then the electrical plug connects in there. And we'll find out how to put the batteries in here in a minute. So they give you a quick start guide here, which basically says we need to go here and install the app to go over the detailed user guide. So we'll do that here in a moment. Nice. They give you some keys, which is really nice because as you can see here on the front of that, it does have a key slot. So if by some chance a battery were to go dead, you'd still have a way to get in the door. And here's just some mounting screws. Now this is a striker plate, and this is the new deadbolt that will go into the door. And they do give you batteries. Awesome. Let's set that aside. Okay, so before I get to the app, I'm gonna go ahead and physically install this on the door. I've already done this before. I know the process of actually getting it physically installed. And then we'll walk through the app setup and get it configured. Okay, so you can see this is the old SwitchBot, and you can see how much thicker that is. I mean, look at that. That's a lot thinner. So this is gonna look a whole lot better on the door, and it's gonna function a whole lot better. Another thing you'll notice too is on the outside lock. This is actually still the old lock that came with the door, which is gonna be replaced by that. All right, let's go ahead and get the batteries out of here. Get this off. Okay, something I completely forgot about, and I had to go hunt me down my little Allen wrench, is that this device uses these little tiny screws on the side of the housing to keep the housing from coming off on the inside. So I had to go hunt that down in order to get this whole piece here to come off like that. And then now that's off, we're done with that. Take this out. A ratcheting screwdriver, gotta get one. Now on the outside here, as soon as I take this last screw out, the whole lock assembly is gonna fall off. So I gotta hold that like so. Now we take the deadbolt itself out. Now as far as the striker plate goes right here, which I know you can't really see that, but mine has 4 screws. This only has 2. But what you'll come to realize when you're doing a lot of these DIY projects, that hole right there that the actual bolt goes through is pretty much the same that's already here. So I don't really need to replace this unless for some reason it's not lining up and down, which I don't think it's going to be a problem. I should be fine leaving the existing striker plate alone. So the first things first is you want to get the new bolt itself installed, and always want to use new screws. Make sure you're paying attention, because if you see right there, it says top. So you don't want to get this installed upside down, because then this isn't going to work right. That fits right in there. All right, so that's nice and flush, which is what you want. Okay, so now we're going to install this on the outside of the door, and you want to pay attention to this little like raised edge right here on top, because inside the door right here, where the slot is that this goes in, this can only fit one way. So it's very important you kind of pay attention to that. Make sure that the rubber gasket is all laid nice and flat. And then you're gonna just slide the electrical cord through, make sure that gets through, and there you have it. So now, once we put the piece on the inside here, then it's going to pull that tight. Now you can see on this piece here, you can kind of see this is slotted, so really could go kind of either way. So we should be in good shape. And don't forget, when you put this in, you got to make sure and connect that cable to that little red spot right there. This cable right here goes in that connector. I almost forgot we got to install this base plate here. This is the plate that's going to fit on here to actually seal the door on the inside. That goes on the bottom half here. And they actually give you like this little like slot here at the top where you can slide that cable through. And of course, the rubber piece goes against the door, not against the actual device. So it's going to look like that with the wire kind of coming into the bottom through that little slot. And then once I screw this in, obviously that's going to come straight. The shaft is going to go through the middle. Now that the plate is on the door, we need to take these two long screws, put these screws through these two holes and secure this flat against the door. Then we're going to take this piece and we'll attach it here. And then there's a screw that goes in here, which holds it tight against this plate. Really easy design, honestly. You always want to start your screws by hand. You don't ever want to use a drill or screwdriver if you can avoid it, because you don't want to strip it out. Okay, now before I go tightening anything down, I want to make sure and check this, make sure it's straight, make sure it's flush, make sure this is straight and flush. And I'm just going to slide this on as a test run. Okay, good, nice. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and snug that down. And again, you don't have to over tighten these because, I mean, it's not coming off the door. The only way somebody's getting to this if they are already in your house, and then by then it's too late anyways. So as long as it's good and snug, that's all you need. It doesn't have to be super tight. Now we'll plug this up like so. So that's connected. And you're probably gonna have to just like fish this wire around so it's not gonna like get too jumbled up. Like so. Okay, and of course the electric screwdriver end was too fat to fit in the hole, so I just have to get a different screwdriver to set this screw. So now that I got this screw in and it's just snug, I haven't tightened it down. There's also two screw holes right here that we're going to put these other two screws in. That's going to make sure and hold that nice and tight. And of course there you can see battery compartment, which again holds 8 batteries, so it's no wonder it lasts 8 months. Okay, I'm gonna snug these down. And again, they don't have to be like super tight because this isn't coming off the door. Because the only way anybody's getting in here is if they've already into your house. Give this little plug right here to stick in the hole, nice and clean. And of course, the batteries say Anker. Anker's a big power company, kind of makes sense. So we're gonna make sure that ribbon's in there. And let's go ahead and put one in the back here. This one, and this one. That one, this one. And there it went beeping because now it's got enough power. Let me know it's ready, but we still have a couple of things to tidy up. Nice. Take the cover, slide the cover back down. Good to go. Again, none of this has to be like super tight because it just doesn't really matter. And so like right now it's in the unlocked position, and we're gonna go ahead and test the actual deadbolt. Perfect. See, I didn't need to change that striker plate. Excellent. Okay, so I went and got my other phone and we got the Eufy app installed. So let's go ahead and open it. We'll say allow. And I do not have an account, so we are gonna have to sign up for an account. Okay, now we're signed in, so I'm gonna say add device. And we have security, we have smart lock, and we have that one. Next, allow. Had to take the plate back off because the QR code is on top for the Matter install. I finished the installation. Long press the setup button until you hear a beep. Got it. I heard the beep. Allow. Connecting with smart lock. Now it's connecting to Wi-Fi. Yeah, I probably could have done this in the Google Home app with Matter, but I actually decided to use the app instead with Wi-Fi because I found in my experience, I'm not sold completely on Matter yet. I've had a lot of issues with it. And I have found that Wi-Fi works a lot better. All right, so we got back door. Next, I have closed the door. So it's calibrating the lock. And I got to set a passcode, which you can't see. Okay, now it wants me to do fingerprint enrollment, which I'm going to do, but I'm just not going to do that right now. So we're going to click skip, done. And of course, there's a new firmware. And you know, I always say update your firmware. So we got to make sure and do that. Okay, so while that is updating, we'll let that go through and we'll be right back. Update is successful, so done. And now it shows unlocked and I can go ahead and get it configured. You know, another thing too I meant to mention is that I didn't like about the other one is this piece right here. This is a little magnet that went on the door frame, and I kept having issues where people would come by and knock this off. I kept having to stick it to the door. The other lock needed this in order to know open and closed as far as the lock position and the door position, which I never really cared for. Okay, so I'm gonna get cleaned up, and then we're gonna get this set up, and I'll show you in the app what's going on. I did almost forget one thing. These have keys. Let's try it out. Nice. Tells you right here an indicator of what the door is doing. That's pretty cool. So right now it's unlocked. Shows locked. Unlocked. I like that. And of course the keypad, you know, I set the code up, which I'm not going to show you because then you'll know the code to my house. Let's make sure that works. Excellent. Nice and secure. Looks really good. Love it. Okay, so now let's get into the app and configure the app settings, and we'll see what we got going on in there. And we're gonna also get it connected to my Google Home so that way I can control it within the Google Home environment. So let's get in here and check it out. Okay, so here's the app. So first, let's take a look at the app settings itself and see what we have. Okay, so here's works with. All right, here we go. So Google Assistant. Okay, so we have to go into the Google side and actually connect it. So that's fine. I'll do that in a minute. Cloud backup, protection plan. I don't even think, is that part of it? No, free trial. See, I don't need cloud backup. So there's really nothing in there. So let's go into the lock itself. So as you can see, it says locked. It says drag to unlock. So I can drag that down and it unlocked, drag to lock. And you can also see the notification pop up there on the phone. So that is working. Now here, I can actually add access for like if I want to give access to a neighbor or something like that, then I can hit add access. Not gonna worry about that right now because we don't really use this door to come in and out. As far as from the outside, we use mostly the garage. I have a MyQ system set up on that, which works really, really well. It's nice you can go here and look at the lock events. That's really cool. Let's look at the settings. Integrate with doorbell or camera. I wonder if this lets me integrate with my Google door. Yeah, no. So if you had a Eufy doorbell, that would work. So that's kind of cool. I like that. One touch locking is on, so you can lock it on the exterior with one touch. Auto lock off. Now, we do want to set this. So the one I have on the garage auto locks at 11 p.m. every day in case if we forget to lock it. So I'm going to turn this on and we're going to say schedule and 11 p.m. and we'll say 6 a.m. How long do you want the door lock to lock itself? See, I don't want a time. Okay, I see. All right, so I can set a timer that says if the door is unlocked for more than a minute, I'll say 3 minutes. If it's unlocked more than 3 minutes during the hours of 11 p.m. and this says 6 a.m., but I don't want 6 a.m. So I guess what we should do, because we want to start at 11 p.m. All right, so I think I'm going to have to go 5 p.m. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that. I'm not really sure. See, again, it said auto lock, and that's a little frustrating. I don't need that. I'll have to look into that. Wrong try protection. Let's see, what is this here? Wrong try protection. If someone enters the incorrect passcode or fingerprint too many times in a row, a lockdown period will occur. 5 attempts for 3 minutes. All right, I like that. I like that. Leave that on. Lock sound, medium, that's fine. Calibration, we already did. Notification, we've already did. Name, backdoor, time settings. It's already got my right settings. Okay. All right. Also shows you up here at the top where the name is. It shows you the battery level, which is nice, and the Wi-Fi level. So that's nice. Well, all in all, really good. The auto lock function, I'm gonna have to think about because I do want it to lock, but I got to determine how I'm going to do the time frame so it locks when it needs to. It doesn't get unlocked during the day, Monday through Friday much because we're not here, we're at work. So I definitely want it to lock at 11 p.m. if it stays unlocked. So I don't know if I can go into the following day from like 11 p.m. to say 4 p.m. I'll have to try that. So anyways, I really like the app interface. It's really nice. Oh, I know. Wait a minute. You know what? Let's get out of here. Let's go into my Google Home. Let's see if, and let's search for EU, Eufy security, continue, United States. Okay, getting signed into Eufy through Google. So, okay, there it is. So unassigned. So let's patio it is, because that goes out to the patio. So I wonder if now I go into automations, create, and I'm gonna say household for everybody. And I'm gonna say lock, patio, how will the routine start? So we're at a starter. Here we go, at a specific time. All right, so we went Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. So 11 p.m., Monday through Friday, at a starter. Actions, adjust devices. Let's go down the patio. Ha, perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. See, this right here is what's awesome. Like, even though I couldn't get the app to do what I wanted to do, since I connected it to my Google Home and I control it through that app, I'm able to have a lot more functionality, which is fantastic. So now I hit add action and save. So now every day at 11 p.m., it's going to lock the back door, no matter what. That's excellent. That's what I want. That way, if something does happen and we leave it unlocked and we forget about it, it'll automatically lock itself. I don't have to worry about it. That's the kind of setting that I was hoping to have in the actual Eufy app. So I didn't have to come in here and do that, but that's okay. I mean, I love, as you can see, I have tons of devices. I don't have any issue, managing my stuff in Google Home. I love the Google Home app. I think it's fantastic. Easy to configure, understand, deal with. You see, I have all my cameras, and yeah, it's just great. I love it. All right, so configuration is done. Okay, so that was actually pretty easy. Getting the other one off was easy. Putting this new lock on was super easy. I didn't have to change the striker plate on the inside of the door frame because the hole was fine. The existing striker plate worked, which most of them will. You don't necessarily have to change that out unless there's some kind of really odd configuration on the old one, but most of them are all pretty much the same. They're pretty similar. And the app configuration, getting it set up and connected, worked perfect. Getting it in Google Home, I was able to set up my actual time frame to lock every day at 11 p.m., which is what I wanted. My garage door already does that, so now I will have my back door and garage door auto lock at 11 p.m. if they are unlocked. So that's awesome. I love the device so far, and we'll see how long the batteries last. With 8 of them in there, I imagine it will last probably 8 months. And so, yeah, I will do an update. See you next time.